I'm going to talk to you about something called the molarity triangle. This is something that I came up with to help all my students do every single concentration molarity problem. And if you haven't done so already, you need to go back and watch parts 1 and 2 of this series for this to make sense. But the molarity triangle is basically, it's kind of like the density triangle, except you have molarity in the lower left corner, moles of solute on top, and then liters of solvent on the lower right. Okay, and we're just going to do a problem that is directly related to that video that was in part 2 with making the salt solution. So the problem is this: make a 1 liter solution of a 1 molar NaCl solution. Okay, so they want to know how many grams of NaCl do I need. Okay, and how do you solve for this? So let's see, I'm going to circle what's given in the problem. So molarity was given, liters was also given. So if I multiply those two numbers, it's going to tell me moles. So this is how I show my work. I just set up the triangle. I'm going to put in 1 for molarity, that big M that you see. So that's my concentration. It's 1. The volume of solution was also 1. So what's 1 times 1? It's just 1 mole. So from here, this is extremely simple. We've done this for like 5 months straight. 1 mole of salt is how many grams? You just need to convert to grams of salt. So I'm going to go 1 mole times time draw a line times 58 over 1. And my answer is 58 grams, just like in the video. So when I measured out 58 grams of salt, I dumped it into the 1 liter of water, and I made my 1 molar of salt. Okay, so the problem is like this: how do I make 2 molars of a 1 liter solution of salt? So I just plug in the 2, and I plug in the 1, and then I get 2 moles of salt. 2 moles of salt is how many grams? Well, just like before, I'm going to go times time, draw a line. If moles is in the top left, I'm going to write moles in the bottom right. And then on top, it's going to be the molar mass of salt, which was 58 again. It didn't change. And now I get 116 grams of salt. Okay, so that means I need to dump in 116 grams of salt into 1 liter of water for it to become a 2 molar solution. How many grams of salt are required to make 3 liters of a 2 molar solution? Okay, so again, I'm going to set up the triangle, but before I do that, okay, let's look at it graphically. I'm going to draw a little picture here. So I have a beaker of water, and I'm going to fill it up with 3 liters of water because that's what they tell us. So I know that we're using 3 liters of solvent. Okay, water typically is a solvent. And I want to make a 2 molar solution. Okay, so basically they want to know how much salt do I have to put into the water so that it becomes a 2 molar solution. Okay, and there's a way to find out. All you have to do is use the molarity triangle. Okay, so how much salt? How much salt? That's the mass that we want to solve for. So I draw my triangle. Okay, that's my triangle. Moles on top, liters in the lower right, molarity in the lower left. Okay, so previously they said we were using it was a 3 liter solution, and then the concentration was 2. Well, what's 3 times 2? This is simple arithmetic. It's 6 moles. So once I find out it's 6 moles of NaCl, guess what I do next? I'm going to convert it to grams. Okay, so I'm going to times how I draw the line. 1 mole of salt on the bottom, 58 grams of salt on top, and then 6 times 58 okay, is 348 grams. So that means I need to dump in 348 grams of salt. Okay, 6 of those like weighing dishes. What is the concentration of a 4-liter solution with 116 grams of salt dissolved in it? Okay, so again, picture you have 4 liters of water and you're gonna pour in or dump in 116 grams of salt. They want to know what's in the lower left this time because they're asking what is the concentration. They want to know the molarity. Okay, so it's like I'm starting on the outside of the triangle, 116 grams of salt. All I have to do is kind of work my way into the triangle. The 4 liters is given. I know exactly where that's supposed to go. It's supposed to go on the lower right because that's a volume. So at this point, I just go 116 grams of salt. And now it's like I'm kind of doing the reverse. I just need to go from grams into moles. So I go times sign, draw a line, make sure grams is on the bottom this time. And 1 mole of salt is how heavy? 58 grams. Okay, so here I just go 116 divided by 58 and I get 2 moles on top. So that completes the triangle. What's 2 divided by 4? So the concentration here, the answer is molarity is 0.5. Big M, 0.5 molars, because 2 divided by 4 is half, or 0.5.